Happy 2024, guys. We are officially in a brand new year, which I am so excited for. Today's video, I'm going to talk about my personal ins and outs of 2024. So let's make a cup of coffee together and let's dive on in. I literally love my Nespresso machine. If you guys don't have an Nespresso, you're missing out. Anyway, I am so excited because, like I said, it is officially 2024. My mind is just blown. I am so excited. I think I've mentioned before, but I love the idea of a new year. I love the idea of a reset. And so today I want to talk to you guys about something that's actually trending or was trending on social media, especially TikTok, and that's the ins and outs of 2024. So today I thought I would do a video talking about my personal ins and outs of 2024. Now, the basic concept of ins and outs is basically what am I taking into 2024 and what am I leaving behind in 2023. I think this is a helpful practice for anybody and everybody, especially if you want to see 2024 be your year of so much growth and so much change. Here are my 5 ins and here are my 5 outs of 2024. Okay, let's first start with what is absolutely out for me. Number 1, and this is something that I know is going to take intentional practice on and something that I'm going to have to work on really hard because this is something I struggle with, but it's going to be self-doubt. When it comes to stepping up to the plate, when it comes to putting myself out there, when it comes to certain things, I often take myself out before I even put myself in because of how much self-doubt I have. This is something that I've struggled with for, honestly, I feel like years. This is something that I know I'm continuing to work through, and the root of that for me personally is perfectionism, meaning I feel like if it's not perfect, then I can't put it out. But what's happening is I'm not willing to put myself out there because I'm doubting the quality or quantity or whatever it is that I have to put out there. So now I'm missing out on opportunities that could be really beneficial, not only for me, but for other people that I encounter or I meet. And so something that I am not taking with me or something that I'm going to be intentional and not taking with me in 2024 is self-doubt. I want to build my confidence. I want to build my self-esteem. I want to be healthy in how I personally view myself. I also want to recognize the gifts and the purpose that I feel like the Lord has placed on my life. And if I'm doubting myself constantly, then I'm also doubting the one who created me. And so for 2024, we're not bringing in self-doubt this year. So that goes into my number 2 of what is out for 2024. And that's simply not showing up for myself, not showing up for opportunity, not showing up because, again, I'm scared or dealing with the fear of if I show up, then I'm not going to be good enough. If I show up, then people are going to question, why the heck are you here? When in reality, that idea of me showing up and thinking, oh my goodness, if I show up, people are going to look at me and think, why does she think she can be here? That's really just a projection of my own insecurity and my own negative thought patterns. I love the concept of you will never know how you do in a performance, in a game, in whatever is at the table if you never show up to do it. And so this year, 2024, is the year I'm going to constantly remind myself until it becomes automatic behavior that I have to show up so I can figure out, is this something that I'm capable of doing? Is this something I'm capable of growing in? And I think I'm going to surprise myself in how much I'm able to do just because I simply showed up. Okay, number 3 that I'm not bringing in to 2024 is being unorganized. I don't know if you're anything like me, but I love the concept of being organized, but I really struggle with the follow through in being organized. I love planners. I love journals. I love all the things and apps on your phone and iPad that help somebody get organized. But when it comes to sticking with it, I really struggle with being organized. I feel like I get really overwhelmed because I live in a world of extremes when it comes to the concept of being organized, where my one extreme is everything is written down, everything is planned out. And if I can't fulfill that, then my other extreme that I live in is like, well, we'll just go with the flow. As somebody who's continuing to build a business, as somebody who wants to continue to lean into entrepreneurship and build the business as great as it can be, organization is something that I have to learn how to figure out. So I'm going to challenge myself in 2024 to become organized. So being unorganized is something that I simply cannot bring with me in 2024. As I figure out techniques that work for me, as I implement things that I've told other people to implement, I'll do a video talking about what has worked, what doesn't work, and hopefully provide some information as I'm learning it myself as well. Okay, the fourth thing that I'm not bringing with me in 2024 is quitting on myself. Again, something that I struggle with, not necessarily with other people, especially if people have expectations of me, I won't quit. But if I just am doing it for myself, I typically quit. So whether that's healthy eating, whether that's working out, whether that's devotions, whether that's intentional time with friends, or anything that's beneficial to me, I tend to quit on because I find it hard to balance how to be there for other people and how to be there for myself. I don't even find it hard to balance. I just don't do it. And so what happens is I end up quitting because my energy has been so exhausted on taking care of other things and other people that I've completely abandoned me. And that's not the vibe for 2024. Am I still going to be gracious and kind and give my time? Yes, but am I going to do it to the detriment of my own mental, emotional, and spiritual health and physical health? No. So I have to recognize that if it's forcing me to quit something that's for me, that's beneficial to me, then it's time to readjust things. I just can't quit on myself. The other thing I feel like I quit on a lot is my dreams, my purpose, my hopes, because I get scared of them. If I'm being totally honest and vulnerable, I think I struggle with the concept of, I know that the Lord has called me to really big things. And I feel like, why would he call me? Like, why would, this person be the one that he's called into really cool and big things and opportunities? And so I literally quit on myself and cut myself short of the opportunities that the Lord has for me. And again, in 2024, that cannot be the thing that I do, because I feel like if I continue to live in that mindset, I'm going to miss out on the fullness of the purpose that I feel like is on my life. So again, the fourth thing that I'm not bringing with me in 2024 is quitting on myself. Okay, and the fifth thing that I am making sure that I'm not bringing into 2024, which again, like all of them, it's going to take some time because this is something that I have maybe struggled with for a long time, and that is crippling people pleasing. I think it's good to be mindful of people's needs and aware of maybe people's wants and expectations. But I find myself, again, in the extremes where I live in a space where I'm crippled by people's expectations. I am crippled by people's needs of me or for them. And I am crippled by the idea of I have to be there for everyone and everything, no matter what the cause is. And I have to take on everything that people are feeling. I have to take on every emotion. And for me, I realized that me being a feeler makes me good at my job. Me being a feeler and being in tune with people's emotions makes me good at my job and being good at being a therapist. However, when there's not a healthy understanding of that, when there's not healthy boundaries in that, it makes me really struggle with the idea of I can't move forward unless I get approval from somebody. I can't think good things unless somebody else thinks those good things about me. And so now my identity has almost been wrapped up in this concept of they're pleased with me, so I'm good. Here's the thing though, people's opinions always change. People's thoughts are going to always change. Mine always change and shift. And so if my identity is based on somebody's expectation, my identity is constantly going to shift. My feelings are constantly going to shift about who I am. And so for me, again, I can be in tune and aware of people's emotions, feelings, and thoughts, but my identity can't be found in that because that is so unsteady and that is so unhealthy. And so figuring out how to be intentional with grounding my identity and grounding myself in what God says and who God says I am. Because again, if I don't, then I'm going to constantly feel unsettled and I'm going to constantly feel unworthy. I'm going to constantly feel these things that I'm not meant to feel. So again, the fifth thing that I cannot take with me in 2024, and that is out for me in 2024, is crippling people pleasing. So what's in then? What am I bringing in with me in 2024? Some of these things I've done and I'm just going to continue doing. And some of these things are newer for me. So let's dive in. What am I bringing with me in 2024? Number one, I am bringing in journaling. Now, as a therapist, this is a concept and a skill and a coping mechanism and a tool that I have told almost every person about, every client about. And it almost sounds obnoxious when I say it, but I'm telling you, the power of journaling, the power of being able to process and write out thoughts and feelings has been a huge game changer for me. Now, this is something that I've done. However, what I'm doing differently in 2024, or what I'm challenging myself to do differently in 2024, is be consistent in journaling. For me, I want 2024 to be the year where I recognize that journaling is so much more than just the rough times, but journaling can be a time of writing down the good, so I can look back and say, oh, I remember that. Oh, this was a sweet moment. Oh, this is something I can hold on to for forever. For me personally, I have always loved writing. And when it came to the concept of journaling, I felt like I have to write a chapter for it to be considered a, valuable journal entry. What I'm learning, though, and continuing to remind myself, though, is that journaling can be as simple as, bullet points and just writing down the few highlights. Journaling can be as simple as brain dumping. That's what I tell my clients about, is when you're overwhelmed, when you're feeling highly anxious and your thoughts just won't stop, or you're dealing with thoughts that aren't true, but it's hard to rationalize them. Brain dump, write it down. When we're able to see it written down, we're able to rationalize it just a little bit better. So yes, journaling is something that I am bringing with me in 2024. And more importantly, I'm going to figure out how to be intentional with doing it consistently. Now, when I say consistently, I think this is something important for us, but especially for me, because it's a freeing thing. When I say consistently, I don't mean I have to do it every single day at this time or it's nothing. For me, consistency in journaling is something that I'm going to figure out as the time goes on. But in my mind, it can be, 2 to 3 times a week. It can be for 5 minutes a day. It can look different. But just as long as I'm intentional with time, with my thoughts and a piece of paper and a pen, or with my laptop or notes. Okay, the second thing that I am bringing in with me for 2024, and this is definitely a personal preference, but I am bringing in reading devotionals. So my husband and I just got a new devotional, and it's one that I learned about over Thanksgiving. During Thanksgiving break, my mom, my sister, and I would read a devotional together, and it was something that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed it because it brings in the Word of God, it brings in current events, and then it also brings in time of reflection, questions, and all that stuff. For me, that is really, really helpful because it's meaty enough to where I feel like I'm learning, but it's not so overwhelming to feel like, okay, I can't keep up with this or I can't keep doing this. So that is something I'm really looking forward to. And again, when it comes to reading devotionals, I want to be consistent in that. Reading the Bible has always been something that I have felt really difficult because, if I'm honest, I have found it boring. I have found it really overwhelming at times. But I think having a book for me that has scripture that I can go then read after reading the devotional is going to be much more doable for me in how I conceptualize and work through reading of the word. And so doing devotions is something that is super important, and I know the benefits of it because there have been seasons where I've been consistent in reading the word, and I can tell you the shift that happens when reading the word consistently or being consistent in devotionals is so significant that I know the power that it has. And so in 2024, something that I'm bringing in with me is reading devotions consistently. The third thing that I am bringing in with me in 2024 is a more balanced or more intentional screen time. And this is what I mean. So I have gone through weeks maybe of, okay, I can't do any screen time. That's just, it's hurting me and all this stuff, or it's not good for me. The reality is my job and what I feel like is next for me, it requires screen time. We are living in a digital world. We're living in a world where people are going to buy things off of Amazon or TikTok before they go into the store. We're living in a world where people are going to get advice and hear things on YouTube or TikTok before they go and meet with somebody. So for me and my world and my season, I know that technology and TikTok and all that stuff, social media, is going to be something that I need. With that being said, I am going to be intentional with the time that I'm on my phone. I'm going to be intentional with the time that I'm scrolling, because I have realized as much as I utilize social media and screens, I also can't be so consumed with it that I drown in it and then I completely get lost and get overwhelmed in what I'm seeing. So something that I'm personally trying is with my phone, not having all my apps. My iPad will have some apps and my laptop will have the apps. I've learned how to upload certain things on those devices so I don't have the immediacy on my phone just to scroll, but I have the access on other things to upload and also to look at certain things that are trending or things that are going on, because I do think it's important to be in the know. But again, I can be in the know without drowning. So all that to say, the third thing that I'm bringing with me into 2024 is intentional and healthy amount of screen time. The fourth thing that I am bringing in with me in 2024, and this kind of relates to the outs of 2024, but the fourth thing is I am going to take care of me. Now, that sounds probably selfish, but this is what I mean. I'm going to take care of my mind, my body, my soul, and my heart. I have struggled again for years of taking care of everybody else or being in tune with everybody else, that I've gotten out of tune with my own self. I've gotten out of tune with my body, whether it comes to working out or eating the right things or sleep. I've gotten out of tune with my own emotions, where I will either completely avoid and shut off or completely drown in. And it's a season and it's a year of getting in tune with myself. And in order to do that, I need to take care of myself. I kind of think of car troubles, which I hate car troubles. But if I don't know my car, if I don't read the manual, if I don't take time to look under the hood and address it, that car that maybe started off with a weird sound will completely break down because I didn't take the time to address the thing that was going on. That's how I feel like I've treated my mind, body, and soul lately, where I'm like, okay, it's just a little, annoyance. It's just a little sadness. It's just a little anger. It's just a little anxiety. It's just a little more weight. But what has happened is, as I've continued to push it off, my body is starting to physically, mentally, and emotionally break down. And this is a year where I have to recognize the need to take care of myself. I have to take care of my mind, body, and soul. Again, I really feel like the Lord has a lot for me, and the Lord has called me to live a healthy lifestyle, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So this is the year I am taking care of me. And then the fifth thing that I am bringing into 2024, and I don't know how this one's going to look yet because this is something that I haven't done much of, but that is travel. Now, let me preface by saying, I don't know if I'm going to Europe or, anything crazy like that. But I think it's a year where I have to travel more. Now, let me preface by saying I am one of those people that has a fear of flying, but I want to like it so bad. I want to enjoy flying. I want to enjoy traveling so bad. I feel like traveling is one of those things, if I'm not intentional with this year, whether it's, going to certain states or, again, whether it is that big trip that happens, I feel like I would look back and be so sad that I didn't take the time to travel. I'm in a sweet spot where I don't have a family yet, and there's not a lot holding me here to where I can't take time off or anything like that. So I want to utilize that this year. I know for me, going to Pennsylvania is something that I want to be intentional with this upcoming year. As somebody who grew up there and has family there, I just recognize the need to be intentional with my family and making sure that I go and see them. I also want to go to a state that maybe I haven't been before yet, but I want to travel more this year. So that is my fifth in for 2024. We are bringing in traveling. Again, don't know what that one's going to look like, and I'm interested to do a recap of 2024 at the end of this year and let you know where I was able to travel to. All right, you guys, that is it for me in today's video. I want to hear from you. What are your ins and what are your outs of 2024? What are you leaving back in 2023? What are some old mindsets or habits that you're like, nah, not for me this year, and you're leaving in 2023? And then what are you bringing into 2024? What are you excited about? in 2024. As always, I am so honored and so excited that you decided to watch today's video, and I'm so thankful that you are a part of this channel. Now, if you are not a part of this channel yet, I would love for you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and turn on your notifications. That way you're notified when brand new videos are out and ready for you to view. Especially if you like all things mental health, therapy, pop culture, and faith, this may be just the perfect channel for you. Be sure to tune in next week for a brand new video. Until next time, guys.